right, welcome into Comic Book Women, everyone. I already see some people in the chat, so thank you guys for waiting. We have a really, really cool character we're to cover. Everybody's excited about X-Men 97 coming out. So obviously we had to cover something that went with that. Madelyn Pryor's on the books tonight, but before we get started, shout out to our sponsors over at Cover Price. There's a code in the description if you want to try their platform out for 1 month for only 99 cents. And shout out to Bird City Comics, our sponsored retailers. What are we dropping this week? We haven't shown it yet, but we are going to be doing a World Tree book that you're definitely going to want. So stay tuned. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. All right. So Madelyn Pryor is on, or under the spotlight, I should say. Hi, guys. Welcome on in. So let's just kick it.
Well, because there's that one cover, I think, because Sarah brought up the character, but there's on a comic for the 87 toy action figure variants was Goblin Queen Madelyn Pryor. So I don't know, is that where you got it from, or?
Well, I had gotten it from because I had heard ever since X-Men 97 was mentioned that Madelyn Pryor, the Goblin Queen, was going to be, a villain. A main villain, I don't know, but I know she's going to be a villain. And actually, there was a toy that came out. I think the toy series came out, and she was one of them. So,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that, and I'm so excited. I really hope. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be in it, but Mr. Sinister, of course, I love him. He's a fantastic villain.
All through the animated series, it was either Apocalypse or Sinister that were like the main villains.
Right.
They kind of go hand in hand, though. Like, how can you have? Oh, really quickly. Thank you to Nimesh Patel, our other sponsor. Seems like forever since I caught a live show. I know. Where have you been? What's more important?
H&H, you got to tune in and wait. Oh, but hey, thank you, Nimesh.
Wondering if you have Helly on. Yeah, you have to just see what's going to come up on this. But yes, thank you, Nimesh, so much. Oh yeah, the costume for Goblin Queen, something else. Jen, didn't you say you wanted to wear that for Halloween? Weren't you saying
that? Look, there's one comic that we have on this that we're covering tonight that will probably be what we get in the animated series. I don't think we're going to be getting the one we're all thinking about.
Okay, can we talk really quickly before we start the list? Why do we think Bo DeMeo got fired?
It's weird because they just one of the articles just said that they just finished wrapping for season 2.
Yeah, and he was talking about season 3. He had every intention of sticking around. Then all of a sudden you see his IG, which was kind of promoting X-Men 97, just get shut down. And like there's no word. An email went out to all the, people that were affiliated with the show. But other than that, what do you guys think? Any speculation on that?
I haven't heard anything, but it could be creative differences, maybe. Hopefully, maybe that's.
But to have something, his account got deleted.
Well, I'm just being I'm being on the positive spectrum. Is maybe it was creative differences, but oh.
Do you think something like horrible came out and they're like trying to do damage control before everybody finds out?
Possibly.
Creative differences doesn't make sense because they let him finish the entire first season, and it's like days before the timing.
It's like a new thing that just came to light.
What?
It's a new thing that came to light. Like again, he's already finished wrapping the writer's room for season 2, so it had to be something fresh, like within this past. We'll find out eventually, right?
We're gonna find out. I'm curious what's going on there because it is odd timing. It's very suspicious, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, there has to be something sinister. All right. Sarah, thank you. I was waiting like 5 minutes to say that. All right. Let's start.
That was great.
Okay. If you guys are new to us, welcome into Comic Book Women. Every week we spotlight a different artist, creator, or character. And in this week's case, before X-Men 97 debuts, we wanted to cover Madelyn Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen, Anodyne, and Maddie. And there was another one. Shit, what was the other one? I forget, but there was another one. Something.
Shoot.
I'll look it up while Sarah talks about powers and abilities.
Yeah, so her power and abilities are telekinesis, telepathy, reality warping, psionic shielding, demonic, augment, sorcery. Her psychic attacks are mind control, pain induction, and astral projection. Yeah. And then, right?
Etc. Because there's so many more.
Right. And then also a skilled pilot and computer proficiency. What does that mean? Like, does she know how to type, or
just a really
90 words a minute?
Right? She knows how to use the computer.
She can turn it on.
Awesome. So,
All right. It was Black Rook was what I was thinking for another name. Really quickly, can we settle this debate? Because everybody's always like, oh, is she actually a clone? Or is she just like a twin? So
she's a clone.
Why?
Because
people who aren't familiar with the storyline.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. What are you talking about?
Like, how did it come to be? How did she come into being? I guess a little bit.
Sinister has always had this weird obsession with Scott Summers and Miss Marvel, Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And he cloned her, but then nothing happened. Like, and this is something I actually thought would probably be interesting talk for later when we cover other clones. Is that she was cloned and she aged, but nothing happened. Like, there was no spark, there was no mutation. It just was a dormant body in stasis. How come that happened to her, but other clones wake up and they're just like walking around and like
like who would be another example?
Ben Reilly.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That's a good question, Jen. We'll have to get into that more. Really quickly, Jen, while we're talking, why only a 3 for intelligence? Actually, cover the stats. Cover the stats.
So when we do the stats, we pull from trading cards, right? We always collect the Marvel trading cards. So she has one. It's the 2017 Upper Deck Marvel Annual 121 card. It's Madelyn Pryor. So this is what the trading card stat is at, and it's from 1 to 7. 7 being the max, and then 1 being are humans 0?
I mean, more like -5. I don't know. I watched some of these videos on Instagram about like people doing dumb shit, and I'm like, wow. So yeah, I would put like a negative range.
So this is so again, not us. Not us. You can write Upper Deck Marvel cards. So yeah, fighting's at a 3, durability a 2, strength at 2, intelligence a 3, and then energy projection is 6.
But to be fair, she's
only because
Charles Xavier, she's going up against Magneto. Like, if you put it into terms of like who she's competing against intelligence wise, a 3 is like a super genius human, right?
Well, I have a wait. So did we finish? So she was in stasis for a long time. Nothing happened.
Oh, yeah, continue.
And then Jean dies, and the Phoenix Force is just like, oh, let me roam. And then because of the similar DNA, was like, oh, you, and then went through her, awakening her and giving her that spark of life and giving her a slight mutation.
Yeah.
Was that retconned, or is that still the same thing?
That makes sense to me.
Right.
Bruce is like, I'm just letting you know. Not blaming you, but okay, Jen, here's a little fun fact. Why did Mr. Sinister name her Madelyn Pryor?
I actually don't know that.
Sarah?
It's Chris Claremont. Chris Claremont, right?
Wait, you said Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister, the character, purposely named her Madelyn Pryor because he wanted. It was kind of like a hint that she was a Pryorly Jean Grey.
Oh, I like that.
Wait, Laura knew something you guys didn't know?
Of course. What? Yay!
But we knew both. Sarah, we all know about Chris Claremont liking. We were talking about backstage before the show.
Mm-hmm. The folk singer.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. What's on the right hand? So we have Chris Claremont on the top. Who's Paul Smith?
He was the artist.
Interesting. Okay.
So they're the creators of Madelyn Pryor.
This is a badass stat slide. Shout out to our graphic designer Britt, who lives behind the scenes, and she is our our backstage angel. So thank you so much, Bert. This is awesome. This gives everybody, if you're just new, if you have no idea what we're talking about, now you kind of have an idea of where this show is going. All right, let's jump right in. First up, what do we have here, Jen?
So on the left is X-Men 168. It's the newsstand edition from 1981. And then on the right-hand side is the Panini Italian variant that came out in 1990.
When did the newsstand shift to being more rare? Is that the 90s?
I thought it was
Or the other way around?
86 or 85 was like 50-50. And then after that, it starts to be
More direct.
rare into the 90s and so forth. But that's just, but I think now when we all see newsstand, we know that it's sitting on that. Oh,
damn, Bruce, that was good.
Thank you.
All right.
And so I think a lot of us know that newsstand means it was out there sitting on the shelves of newsstands. And so maybe that's why, even if it's before 1986, we tend to put a little more value in it.
Interesting fact from Michael Baker here. As the Goblin Queen, it was Mark Silvestri doing the art, not Paul Smith. So to clarify. Thank you.
Who created the character?
That's true.
Right,
We were just talking about the character, but then the art. So that kind of like formed this whole group of people that were really into this. All right, so that's the left-hand side. Did you already cover the right?
Yeah, Italian Panini 1990. So would you guys rather have if you had $5? Would you want the foreign or would you want the...
For me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go with the newsstand. That's what I would want.
See, now I find this interesting that you have the newsstand with, she's got brunette hair. And then you have the one on the right, and she is redheaded.
She's redheaded on the left, too.
Is that Kitty Pryde?
That looks like red to me, man.
Isn't that Kitty Pryde, though?
Is it?
It doesn't. I think the hair just looks a different color on the right-hand side, but I think on both cases it's...
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm gonna go with the Italian because I like redheads. Good hair.
I do too. All right, let's see who's right here. So, guys, if you're just hopping in, welcome into Comic Book Women. We are covering Madelyn Pryor, aka Goblin Queen, tonight. And let's see. On the left-hand side, we're looking at $20, most common raw. A very fine's going for $25 with a 9.8, just under $500. But there's an asterisk, meaning that that was a sale that took place more than 60 days ago. So who knows where it's at now. On the right-hand side, the Italian version of that same cover is going for $20 plus $4. Wait, $4 plus $20 shipping. I had that reversed. Holy hell.
So there hasn't been any recently sold ones, but all the ones listed are from Italy. So you're paying that international shipping rate. So you can probably get this for cheaper, but it's just the shipping that costs the money.
Maybe that's why her Kitty's hair is red. She's like, how much in shipping?
Right? She's pissed.
She's pissed for us, $20.
Right?
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Easily.
Uncanny X-Men 234 was the debut of the costume we all know and love, and that was Silvestri. Good stuff, Baker. Bringing all those facts. All right, Karen went left. Used to have the one on the right back in the day. Kitty was my favorite. That's funny. All right, let's keep on going. So, guys, if you're just hopping in, we're just barely kicking off, so no worries if you missed the first part. What do we have here?
I'm pulling up my notes. Sorry, they went away. So on the right-hand side, I know for sure is, how did she say it earlier? Anodyne?
Anodyne?
So it's a short, like little mini. It has to do with like Loki, but that's her in a gold and pink outfit. She gets the ability to heal, and she gives Rogue and Cyclops control over their powers for this little tiny bit.
That's cool.
And then Schneikes. That's from 1985. That's the newsstand edition. And then on the right-hand side is X-Men 175 newsstand from 1983. Gosh darn it.
Take your time. No worries.
Right.
Think this one out. While you're thinking it out, Sarah, off the bat, which one would you go with out of these two?
Well, definitely on the left-hand side, because we have the Phoenix right on the cover, and I love the Phoenix. Which it's just so crazy, this story of, Jean Grey and Scott Summers, and now we've got Madelyn, and down the line we'll probably talk about Havoc. Like this just crazy story of all these people is just, you know.
It's the marriage. It's the marriage of Madelyn and Scott.
You were creating suspense for everybody. We were just waiting.
Right?
I'm
It was
surprised no one like jumped in.
No, you did. But look at that $1. Missed that for sure. Yeah, Johnny Boys, we get that. All right, so I'm with Sarah on this one. I would go left hand. Although I do think the Alpha Flight's really cool. The X-Men Alpha Flight. I like the whole composition of that book. I think the left hand would be my.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that it'd be really funny because I'm saying I doubt that we'll see that version of Madelyn Pryor, and then they do it.
Right? Hey, we don't know. That's the fun part of it. So let's take a look at the stats here. On the left-hand side, we're looking at the most common raw, $18, with a very fine going for only $13. That seems reasonable for such a cool event. A 9.6 was slabbed at just $80, and the X-Men Alpha Flight is going for $5. So Sarah, you and I were right.
Absolutely, I'm right.
Although a 9.8 went for $330. That's an interesting discrepancy between the 9.6 of the X-Men on the left and the 9.8 of the on the right.
I wonder if it's signed.
It could be.
If it's signed.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Maybe that would make more sense, I guess. Nimesh went left too. There we go. Give me X-Men 175 all day. Thank you, Awesome Sauce. We appreciate you being here. And 80s Comic Bigs. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Like, why would that go for 330? But we'll have to dig more into that. Moving on. All right, I think most of us have seen the one on the right. What do we have on the left?
So on the left, it's Uncanny X-Men 201, and it's actually the birth of her child. So it's funny because before doing research on this, I always was under the impression that Jean and Scott were Cable's parents, but it was Madelyn Pryor. So
now, did you get that off of the cartoon? Because I think that's where I got my info from. Was that it was Scott and Jean who had Cable.
Yeah, I think it just embedded itself in like my young Gen brain and was like, yeah, this is a thing. And then, oh no, it's Madelyn Pryor. It's a lot. It's more messy. And actually, it's funny that like the more I get to know, because I read comics and then you watch cartoons, and I think cartoons just instills itself somewhere in like your psyche. I really liked Scott. But then after finding out all this other stuff, I'm like, oh, I kind of don't like Scott anymore. He's kind of.
You liked? I always found Scott kind of.
I thought because he was the leader and he wears glasses, and I had glasses like my whole entire life. I wore contact lenses. Like that's that leader thing. I'm like, like Leonardo. Anyway.
So, what do you think of adult Scott Summers now? Now that or adult Jen, what do you think of Scott Summers now?
I don't. He did not handle Madelyn Pryor very well, and I think he did her dirty.
Well, also in this cover too, isn't this? We were kind of talking about it in our chat. Is that what you see in this cover where Storm and Scott are battling over who is going to lead the X-Men, and I'm just wondering if this story, and we're going to get deeper into Madelyn's and the Summers. It sounds like such a soap opera.
Might happen in the show, maybe.
I mean, maybe.
Because why would you put her in here? Why would Madelyn? I mean, like Mr. Sinister, of course, I totally understand because he's awesome. But why would you put Madelyn in there? Just saying.
To throw a curveball into everything.
Time will tell, I suppose. I mean, most of these are still pretty obtainable, so it's not like a huge risk if you want to spec a little bit on some of these.
Right. And then on the right-hand side, it's X-Men 234. It's the newsstand, and that's where we get like her costume, like debut.
Oh, look at Scott! Just loves the real Jean too much.
That's true, but then at least
that is true.
If Scott, I hold Scott to like a high leader standard, so it's like if you're aware of this, then say it, because he never actually said like, hey, Jean's back, I'm gone, or hey, the X-Men actually mean more to me, and like I can't let go of this, like this is who I am. He just, I have a meeting in New York, and then just leaves.
Before Cable, after Cable.
Yeah, but he said like, I have a meeting, I gotta go, but I'm never coming back.
A long ass meeting. He's like, I'll see you eventually.
Yeah. But that it's kind of like it would have been better if he broke up with her through text, right? Like even that's better than like ghosting.
Lowliest of
He
Yeah.
ghosted her.
Kidding.
What is that saying? Hell has no
Hell
fury.
hath no fury as a woman scorned.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I think that's a pretty
Well, okay. She also had to find out through the TV that, all this was happening. Like, come on.
It's hard to
Downward
side with them on this. It is. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a
Cover-wise,
devil's
they go
advocate
left.
here, and I got nothing. Huh?
Cover-wise, they go left.
All right, let's see what the costs are here. On the left-hand side, the Uncanny X-Men 201 is going for $7 with a fine copy at $12, a 9.8 at 100. That's interesting again, because if a fine copy is going for 12, a near mint's probably what, in like the 30s?
Mm-hmm.
Roughly?
Yeah.
So a 9.8 is not a bad deal, especially if something ends up happening here with these. The Uncanny X-Men 234 on the right-hand side, we're looking at $9 with a near mint at 21 and a 9.8 at 355 with an asterisk.
Interesting.
Interesting. The market has spoken, though, right?
It has.
All right, let's keep going. Next up, what do we have here? This is your
X-Men.
pick, Sarah, on the left.
These are my picks. So
they're both your picks. Okay.
they are both. Yeah. So kind of short story. I'm not totally familiar with Madelyn Pryor, but I love Mr. Sinister, obviously. So this is Uncanny X-Men on the left-hand side, 239. This came out in 1988. And again, this is Mark Silvestri. This is, like I said, I love my Mr. Sinister. This is the first cover appearance of Madelyn, and this is the first cover appearance of Mr. Sinister, and this is the second appearance in the book of Mr. Sinister. This is also the first cover appearance and mention of Madelyn as the Goblin Queen. Plus, it's just a sexy ass cover. She also is holding Havoc too, but I think it's just a sexy ass cover where she's wearing her costume. She's in the palm of Mr. Sinister's hand. I just love this cover. And then on the right-hand side, we have X-Men number 240. This came out in January of 1989. And of course, this is done by Mark again. And this is the first appearance of the Goblin Queen in there. So,
well, damn. How do you pick between these two?
Right?
Choice.
To me, I the reason why I picked the one on the right mostly was because, it's Mr. Sinister and we have, the Goblin Queen herself, together. But my heart and my soul goes with the one on the left because I just love this cover.
I think I'm with you on that. I would think I would do 239 as well.
I would pick the left also, but real quick. And there's been one major time, but I think there's a minor time where we got teased Mr. Sinister in the movies, and then we just never got it. I think the most memorable one was the McAvoy Professor X movies. You see him take a sample of the DNA, and you see it closes and it's Essex. And you're like, oh, Mr. Sinister's coming, and then they just never did anything.
It says, doesn't the briefcase say there's a nameplate that says M Sinister on it or something like that?
That's in another movie, yeah. But we got Essex.
Is that Deadpool?
It might have been Deadpool. I know that the McAvoy one was where we got the Essex Corporation, and we know that it's this guy.
Right.
Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat. You guys are being awesome in the chat right now. We have 42 live. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We are just a bit over 2,000, but I'd like to hit 3 before the end of the year. That's kind of
right. We're so close. We're getting there little by little, but if you guys help us out, that would be fantastic.
I think Michael Baker might be an X-Men fan. Just saying.
Just a little, right?
All right, so let's take a look at the stats. The Uncanny X-Men 239 is a steal at $16 raw with a fine going for 14 and 9.6 at 66. I'm guessing you could get a 9.8 for under $100. That's a fantastic deal if you're a fan of any of the characters here. On the right-hand side, the Infernal X-Men 240 is going for $7 raw with a 9.8 at a measly $65. Whew.
Easy.
The cost of slabbing these things is like $30.
Yeah.
More. Oh, sorry. It's got a counter offer. I'm pulling a Sarah and I'm like going on eBay and I'm putting all these bids in and I'll mess with that later. Okay. Moving on. Next up, what do we have here?
We have X-Men 241 from 1989, and it's her origin story. And then on the right, it's X-Force. Oh, sorry, X Factor 38 newsstand, and that's the death of the character.
Ooh. All right. I know my pick. What would you go with, Sarah?
Absolutely the left. That's such a fantastic cover too.
Yeah, it's
Did
kind
you
of
win
perfect,
something?
right? There's nothing wrong with that. Everything's perfect. I do like the Inferno X Factor. I think the red's well done. I think the whole style of art here is good. But yeah, I'm with Sarah. Like, you just can't beat the left. I think the chat's with us as well. We have left.
Mm.
Can someone say mama like comment? He goes, mama. No, that was bad. Mama. Somebody do it. Let me try it. Mama. Is that good?
Where's Joe?
Mama. Yeah, Joe, where are you at? I'll have to clip
Oh,
this.
that was a good one. That was a good one,
Was
Laura.
that one good?
Yeah.
Mama. Nah? I feel like I'm getting better the more we practice. All right. Unanimously, I think we all went left. Sorry, Joe. That was a horrible question. $6 for a fine, a 9.8 out of 112. And on the right-hand side, $3, guys. Super affordable.
Right? I wonder if we're going to see an uptick once the show starts.
Oh, I'm sure. Especially once we find out like what's going on in some of these storylines. I think a lot of these books have room to grow. We passed over X-Men 37 or X Factor 37.
We only have 10 comic slides, so we might have to do a part 2.
We talked about this before the show. We're like, you guys, it's impossible to like really pay full tribute to Madelyn without going for 3 hours. And so we'll get to it, we promise. All right. Next up, what do we have on the left? And my pick is on the right, but let's talk about the left.
So we have Inferno #1 from 2015. And that's a Javi Goran. Did I start Garon cover?
I'm not sure who that is.
I think that's probably closer to the outfit we might get in the cartoon. If she shows up in the cartoon, I feel like it's probably the one we'll probably be getting.
I think it's all like I think everything is covered, and then she has the brooch in the middle. Yeah,
it makes sense because you have to kind of make sure you're appropriate for all audiences, you know. All right, on the right hand side is my pick. This is New Mutants number 25 from 2022. This is the Derek Chu cover, and I'm a big fan of evergreen pieces. If you can find me a cover that kind of encapsulates the character and it's not dependent on the narrative, but you can still just slab it and you have a really good rendition of who that person is, sold. So that was kind of why I chose this, and I think Derek Chu is amazing.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Virgin.
I thought about it, but I actually like the trade on this one.
Is it because it's in the background?
Yeah, normally I don't. It's not obstructing the art in any way. I don't know. I dig it. So that was my pick on the right-hand side. And I do think that Derek Chu is one of those modern artists that's just incomparable. Like it's hard to find somebody where you're like, oh, that's kind of Derek Chu style. I guess maybe Art Germ. Maybe. What do you guys think?
I think you nailed it. I think they're both very kind of, they're fantastic. I can't even think of the words, but they're just fantastic.
Guy Forge in the house. What's up? Good to see you. We're still waiting on that rematch.
Right?
It's a little bit like Black Widow on the left. It does.
Oh, thank you, Awesome Sauce.
Oh, Awesome Sauce. Thank you for the super sticker. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jen, for reminding me. Maddie does not miss ab day at the gym. That is very true.
And I mean, those boobies, like they're just drawn perfectly.
We all picked a cover of New Mutants 25, by the way.
There were so many good covers. It was kind of hard to just narrow it down to what your favorite would be because there's so many good artists and there were so many good variants. I agree. Planet Arizona. If that's my advice to you guys, if you're starting to collect artists, keep an eye out for Chu books because I think they're really, really well done. Okay, let's take a look. So $8 for the one on the left for the Inferno with a 9.8 going for about $31. Steal, because like I was saying earlier, that's basically the cost of slabbing. On the right-hand side, we're looking at $11. We don't have any slabbed information but you can still find a near mint copy for about $3 if you dig around. So can't go wrong.
I like her thick legs too.
Hold on.
That's just,
Oh, I know. Isn't that nice? I just like it.
It's double
Goblins
seam.
around her. The red. Everything about that cover just works. Okay, next up, Sarah. We'll start with you on the right hand side.
Yeah. So, like Laura said, we were all kind of picking the same cover. So I chose a different one, and this is Dark Web X-Men #2. This is cover B. This is by David Beldon. This came out in December of 2022. And of course, this is kind of like what I was saying. I think just a gorgeous negative space romantic cover of Madelyn and Havoc, because they too had a romance going on, kind of.
Do you think Scott? Okay, I almost like want to reread, but do you think Scott was like, my brother, really?
I mean, it makes sense. If you think about like the dynamic between the relationships, I could see that happening. So the chat here is a little bit torn, but I don't know. I think it makes sense.
And then on the left-hand side, it's my pick for New Mutants #25. Now, how do you say his name? Dan Panasan?
Perfect. That's fantastic. Well said.
Right? Good job.
I like his style.
Dude, we are 100% split on this chat. I'm sitting here watching, and it's literally down the middle right now. The conversations that must have been had at the summer Thanksgiving table each year. That's for sure.
Kidding. Like, I tried to sacrifice our son. Our son is now was it a futuristic, warrior? Yeah.
You couldn't text me or send me a letter.
Right. I had to find it out on the TV.
All right, everybody's going right here. Now, well, not everybody, but I think we had the tiebreaker with Arizona going right, and then Johnny Boy went right as well. Nice negative space to make the characters pop. I agree. Sarah, don't hate me. I'm going left. I don't know why this cover just speaks.
Is it the demons?
It might be a little, yeah, because they look so like childlike. I don't know. I don't know.
Is it licking her knee?
I think so. It just
Both
looks
are.
weird. Yeah.
At least she's wearing boots.
Sexy as hell. Yeah, they all like the right, but I'm going left on this. Let's see who's right. Ah, good. Okay, I'm all right with this.
Wow.
We're looking at basically a tie. So the left-hand side, the New Mutants 25 is going for $5, whereas the right-hand side, Dark Web X-Men #2 is going for about $5 as well. So this is basically a choose your flavor type deal. Pick your poison. They're both fantastic, but yeah, dig around and see what you can find. I will say this. I think it'd be harder to find Sarah's in high condition. Obvious.
Yeah. But I like them both. I mean, that's really cool that really you could afford both of them.
Mhm.
They are kind of like what you say, like evergreen pieces.
That's true. I might go left on that. Oh, good. I got him to switch because of the demons licking. Perfect. We'll start a whole Facebook group. Find demons licking people.
Right?
All right. Next up, I actually thought this was going to be your pick, Sarah, on the right. So I was surprised when
We
you
thought so too. Both Britt and I
really
thought
did.
that.
I
So.
thought it would. But what do we have?
So we have Hellions. So Bruce mentioned this earlier. Hellions #18, second print by Philip Tan, and then on the right it's Dark X-Men #3 by Scotty Young from 2023. Britt really liked the second print. She liked it more so than the color version, and more than the ratio color version, which, I mean, more than $1.
Yeah, I'm with her. I think the tan version is fantastic. I'm not usually a big fan of black and white books, but in this case, I think you see a lot more detail. It really draws attention to the line work. And Scotty Young, don't get me wrong, Sarah, I love him for the most part, but some of his covers, I feel like, okay, I can tell when he's putting all of his effort in, and I can tell when he's doing this. And this to me seems like it probably took him a day, which is still great. And whatever, but it's not Scotty at his best. So I would go left.
It's cute that the goblins are tugging on her, and it's oh yeah, because on a lot of these pictures that we're seeing tonight, and then also when you come across her, you'll see it's the goblins are freaking on her. So this is I mean, I'm sure if you had, it's kind of I don't know what to call it. Yeah, it would just be really irritating to
She does look irritated, and they got that pretty well. But
she looks like a tired mom. Like, I've been taking care of these freaking goblins like all day. You know, they're pulling on my hair, they're pulling on my cape. I'm just done with it.
So what would you go with then, Sarah, if you had to pick?
Oh, you know, and I hear what you say, Laura, but I do like between the two, I would go with this Scotty, and just because I think with the Hellions, it would have been nice if there was just a little bit of like red coloring, like in the jewel, maybe red in her eyes, just something like a little bit more, something that would pop. So I'm gonna go with Scotty.
So the Philip Tan 1 in 100 is full color, and goes for around 40. And then there is just a normal trade dress one that goes for on cover. But
all right, really quick to answer this question, the way this show kind of works is we're not looking at, we want you to go off of what you would want, not what's worth more. What would you just, if you have walked into a store, you didn't see the price tags, which cover do you gravitate towards? It's interesting because sometimes our mind automatically goes to the more expensive, and sometimes we're like, well, shit, that book was $2 and I traded it in for the other one, which was like $500. So pick whichever one you instinctively are drawn to, and then we'll tell you the cost after. So then you can either beat yourself in the butt or pat yourself on the ass.
And then H&H brought up that if you got 25 of these second prints, you got this ratio for 1 to 25, and those are very scarce.
All right, so let's take a look. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Ant's going to vote on the next one. So let's look at the price. We have $3 for the left-hand side with a fine going for $4, and kind of the same deal. $4 for the right-hand side with a near mint going for $3. I don't know. I think this is a tie, Sarah. If a fine of the Hellions is going for $4 and a near mint of the Dark Man's going for $3, I would say it's a tie. Or I win. Pick one.
I'll say it's a tie. It's a tie.
It's a tie. Fantastic. All right, Anthony's going to chime in on this next one. Okay, Ant. First off, on the left. Oh, damn it, Jen. All right, what do we have on the left? Don't say anything yet.
Dark X-Men #1, the Adam Hughes version that's the 1 in 50. And then on the right,
this is my pick. It's Lobos for Dark X-Men #2. This is the 1 in 25. But I didn't know I was going to be going up against Hughes. Ben has this fantastic way of kind of drawing us away from our own picks. So if you looked at these two covers, which one would you want and why? You got to lean in. I can't see you.
I wish the Lobos was a virgin variant, because then I'd go Lobos.
That's true.
Yeah, I like the way Lobos does faces better. Like Hughes has a really distinctive style with like the outlines that he does.
So does Lobos.
Which are very similar. But the thing is that his facial expressions, when Adam Hughes doesn't give like a sarcastic grin or something facial expression, when it's like that mute fill, it's too like postery for me. It loses that realism where I like the smirk better.
Yeah, she does have a smirk. All right, the chat.
And think about Adam Hughes' best covers is they have facial expressions when they do this. When he does this muted, like medium melancholy looking face, yeah, he loses me on that.
So do you think Lobos is a Adam Hughes wannabe?
No, I think he draws inspiration. The thing is, if you ask Lobos about it, he didn't really put the comparison together until people told him it looked like Adam Hughes. So he was kind of doing his own thing.
He wasn't doing it purposely? Oh.
Because I asked him, I said, dude, I like it because it's real close to this. And it's got his, he's like, who's the, like, I know Adam Hughes, but really? Like, he didn't put the two together.
Interesting.
It's nice. And suppose I'm going, yeah, I love that guy's stuff. So, I do my thing.
All right. So overall, who did you pick?
I picked Lobos on the right.
You picked Lobos.
Especially if that was a virgin, it'd be a runaway.
All right. Ant goes Lobos. Sarah, what about you?
I think Ant talked me into it, and I totally agree with him. If you do look at, it's very theatrical on the left hand side. Her facial expression is very like, you're like, huh? Like it's but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Lobos. I think Ant's spot on with that description. If it was if it was a virgin, then I'd be like,
I like the Lobos too.
Boom.
All right, Jen likes the Lobos. I like it. Doesn't now, guys. Just For those in the chat, doesn't mean it's more expensive. It just means the one that we're more drawn towards art-wise. And I'm going to agree with Anthony on this because I think the Goblin, and I'm not just agreeing because I'm your wife. I'm agreeing because that face on the left, I feel like he's used that face
This
before.
is the only microphone I feel like
Yes.
dropping right now.
He's
The other ones
dropping
are
the mic.
the other ones are too expensive to drop.
I wonder if it's supposed to be like the vampire, like the Dracula, like my minions, like face.
It would be like a theater, not a theater poster, like a movie poster. It looks like an old school movie poster. That's what it reminds me of.
They all think we're crazy. I don't get me wrong. I do like the hues, but if I had to go between the two, and if you didn't know who the artists were, I
Well,
would.
look, I didn't buy the one for 50, which is what we're seeing on the screen. I bought the regular cover, which has a trade dress in it. That's cover price.
Well, let's take a look. I have a feeling we're all going to be
Right?
Oh, actually, not really. Okay, this makes me feel better. So a $30 raw for the hues. You're looking at the most common raw for the Lobos at 25. The 9.8 hues blows them out of the water. 83 versus 25. I'm guessing that was like a fluke bid that somebody just scored. A near mint, you're looking at 30 and 18. So the hues definitely demands more price-wise. So yeah, I guess it just depends. The one on the left looks like she doesn't have time for your shit. That's true. What's up?
I agree. Yeah.
And then the pose on the right is better. Yeah, it just comes down to personal, whatever you guys think. That's what makes this fun, though, right? You can just pick what you want.
Collect
next
what you
up.
like.
So this is the last slide.
All right.
My pick is on the left. It's X-Men The End, number 5 from 2005 by Greg Land. I like it. I liked it so much. And then Britt put it into the stats slide.
It's a great cover. She just looks sinister. No pun intended.
And then Sarah.
Which one is this? I forget which. This is your pick for New Mutants 25. Yes. And this was. Do you remember the?
Stanley Archer one for 100.
Yes. It's the Archer. It's the Archer one, and yeah. I just think it's. I mean, like abolitious. Look at that! Like, boom.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
How could you not?
That's why you picked it, the abs?
Well, the abs and the boobies, and like she just looks so like commanding, and she just looks like the Queen of the Goblins or the Goblin Queen.
Goblin look like the trolls from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking when I see that. I'm like, the face. I love Art Germ. Art Germ's actually what brought me into the hobby. I think that when I first started collecting, his stuff just looked so soft and beautiful and timeless. And all of his covers are evergreen. I can't think of any of Art Germ covers that are like not something I'd want to slab. However, I did a Jen, however. However, I feel like the more I collect, the more I outgrow Art Germ. And that sounds so mean, but it's after a while, his covers start to look,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say redundant, but they start to look very
Similar.
Like this looks like Phoenix. Get it, Sarah? Anyway, I don't know. Out of the two,
It does in a way. I totally agree with you. It does.
I think I would go with Jen's pick because I don't know if it's worth more, but I like that power pose. I like how one of her legs are just kind of lazily laying there. Like, what are you gonna do? And the way she's petting the goblin in the background. This is awesome, Jen. If I saw this and I had $5 between the two of them, and I am a huge Art Germ fan, I would go with yours.
Ooh.
But I love you, Sarah. I love you. All right, let's see. We got abs all day. Right, left. This one didn't really vote. Adam, you didn't vote. The left pose is really in your face. That's why she's sitting totally in control. I go left. Okay, so I think we're kind of torn in the chat too. Let's take a look at the stats. All right, Jen's book 1 X-Men's going for $4, where the Art Germ is $100. We're all kicking ourselves in the ass. We're saying no. But yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. You collect what you want, right?
Buy what you like.
That's true. And I do like Art Germ. I really, really do. I just feel like I'm evolving. I'm going to be on the lookout for that X-Men one. Yeah, me too. I bet that's a tough one to get in a near mint. We only have stats for a fine for $3, whereas a near mint of the Art Germ's going at 100. So it's holding ratio.
Well, it's almost next year it'll be 20 years old.
geez, that's really good then.
Shut the front door.
She must be
21 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
2005.
Makes me feel old. All right,
Yeah.
that was it for us tonight, guys. If you enjoyed the show, and we know there's a lot that we couldn't include, but that's just so we don't keep you here all night. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a comment afterwards. Let us know some of the books you might want to see in part 2. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and please share us out. We would like to hit 3K by the end of this year. The girls and I really enjoy what we do, but on top of Comic Book Women, we have multiple shows throughout the week. We have Monday Cover Lovers. We have, what's on Wednesday?
Week in Geek.
Week in Geek. Week in Geek on Wednesday. We have Long Story Short on Thursday with their Ghosts and Bangers. We have a Saturday Toy Box. There's content all week for you on this channel. So please make sure that you subscribe. Girls, anything you want to add before we call it?
Please put down, not in the live chat, but in what's it called, like after the show
Comments?
what character do you wish or want them to cover in the new X-Men 97?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
There was something that, Bo DeMayo that got fired. He had this quote, and something that I just wanted to kind of tell you guys before we get off. He put that there's a Magneto in all of us, and there's a Charles Xavier in all of us. There's a part of us that wants to see everything just burn, and there's also a part of us that wants to see everything get built up. And I was like, damn, that was so. I'm hoping whatever happened with him isn't something horrible.
Well, wait, because in the trailer, because at the end of X-Men in the 90s, Charles dies. He passes away. And now it's like, what's the next chapter without their psychic leader? And then you see in the trailer Magneto show up to lead them.
Magneto is one of those villains that I have a hard time being mad at because I can relate to him in so many ways. Aside from my Jewish heritage, I just find so much about the character of Magneto to be like appealing to me. I have to remind myself he's a villain. He's a villain. But that would be cool. I think
Is he really a villain? I think that's kind of the whole anti-hero kind of, is he really a bad guy, or is he just, doing what he believes in,
What was his daughter with the green hair? What's her name?
Polaris?
Yes. They haven't showed her at all. Did they?
X-23 before, Jen?
Huh?
Have we done X-23? We haven't?
We haven't done X-23?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think.
Seeing Laura would be awesome.
I remember maybe we did. Shit.
Did we do?
I don't know. I have to go back and look. We've been doing this for years, so we can't remember who we covered. Maybe. Isn't Magneto, he was formed or written after Malcolm X, whereas Xavier was more Martin Luther King?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of give you both sides to that spectrum. Anyways, we have not done. Okay, Bruce would know. So we have not done an X-23. Maybe that could be one that we have up next.
Deadpool is coming up.
Magneto.
Oh, there's so many rumors that girl from Logan is gonna play her.
I hope so. I really hope. I hope everyone's like, oh, I'm so done with like cameo filled movies, but I love them. And especially with this one too. I mean, if they can just, fill it up with all the, X-Men box goodness, I'm all for it.
I just want to see Wolverine in that costume.
And the yellow one?
We've only seen the like him in normal clothes and then him in the black leather.
True.
Yeah.
What was it? I was gonna say something and now I just totally forgot about it. Damn it. Oh, the rumor that because they think they show Patch in the trailer. Oh. And I think was it Lucy that brought it up that they're saying that it's possibly Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
That's funny.
That's what they're saying, which I don't think it fits. I don't know.
If it's a quick 5-minute cameo, same thing with what people were saying that Taylor Swift might be either Lady Deadpool or Dazzler. I mean,
she fits as Dazzler though. Like that makes sense.
Somebody else. There was somebody that I just heard that it's Lady Deadpool, and I cannot remember her name. I just heard about it.
It's Lady Deadpool.
Yeah. I'll have to find it again and then say it somewhere.
We We've actually talked about doing this before, like having like a live reaction of us watching something. It's tricky with YouTube because we don't
Copyright.
shut
Yeah.
down and
Well, technically, the ones that do it that I've seen in the past is they give everyone a chance to sit down. They tell everyone I'm about to hit go, and then they go 1, 2, 3, and then they go, okay, now it's like 1 minute, and then they look, well, so it's you're not seeing it or wait, how does that work then?
just pure
Put it in
reaction.
your bud?
Yeah, we probably all have AirPods in
Mm-hmm.
and like take one out to talk or something like that. I mean, it's possible. So maybe X23. That seems to be the main request that we're getting here in the chat. So we'll see what we
There's so
can do.
many covers. Oh my god.
There's so many.
And then do you count the test tube or not? Or do you not?
Yes. Yes. The drag queen. What are you, Johnny boy? Drag queen impersonating Taylor Swift in Thailand. I think filled a mall. MV Swiftie fans went insane. Really? Swift fans are something else. They're like a different level. When you can affect the economy of wherever it is that you're performing, that's like
Mm-hmm.
The NFL sold more tickets, right? And the viewership for the games that she would attend was higher.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
And you're like, it's just not even about football.
Would Ryan Reynolds bring in his wife for the Dazzler Lady Pool cameo? I mean, Blake Lively was in Green Lantern, so I could
Well,
see.
that's how they met. I thought.
It is
That
how
was
they
before-
met.
Yeah, that was before.
I think she would make a good Lady Deadpool.
She could, yeah. She's freaking beautiful too. It's like maybe have all three of them. There you go. You never know. Magneto is not a villain, said Adam. I know. I kind of feel the same way as you. I think there's like a gray area where Magneto falls.
Well,
Kind of feel the
yes,
same way about
that
Thanos.
trial, and then I think after that, people view him differently.
Magneto would be a good one, and I don't think we've ever done Magneto Spotlight.
No,
I would say
no,
Magneto
no.
and X23 should be our next two.
I
This is
love a
usually
good
what we
villain.
talk about after the show's over, so you guys are just kind of this is literally the conversations we usually have after we're off. But Sarah, you look like you're wanting to add something. What?
Oh no, I'm just trying to find who that person they were talking about. It really is like it's
Just put
bugging
Lady
me.
Deadpool and then click on the news tab.
I did, and they're all talking about what's her face, Taylor Swift, which that's not who it was. Oh, damn it.
Anthony
That's gonna
can't
bug
stand
me.
her. Our
Damn it.
daughter's like obsessed and she plays her music all the time. But Anthony cannot stand Taylor Swift.
She gonna watch it on Disney Plus because they're gonna show new footage.
Probably.
I
Ellie
thought
knows
they did already.
they did.
Oh, wait. Wasn't there something though? They were supposed to like release like a new release of.
Yeah, they did already. It's like her era's tour.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm torn on the whole Swift thing. I do think she would do well as Dazzler. She was good in that movie, The Giver. The Giver. She was in that. She was like the one
I
that
haven't seen it.
you would like it. You should watch it. The Giver. It's an interesting story. All right, we're heading off. Thank you guys for Post Ramble. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.